Hey guys, Andrew coming at you. I am really tired this week. Thank you for sticking with me. It was a difficult week here because I had the marathon on Saturday and I'm just beat. It's the toughest time for me and my work and everything else. But pretty soon I will be able to go home to the States and have a little bit more time to get into everything. But to make this video fun for you and myself, I thought it'd be nice to go through some of my questions and kind of spill through them. When I go through these questions, I'm usually reading them for the first or second time and just kind of speaking off the top of my head and moving from there. And from there, I'm going to go into your questions. If you like this segment, I think it's cool to give me a like, and you can always ask questions on this video. But if you ask questions on other videos or have comments, I might add it into the videos. This is nice for me because it's a very easy video to make, and it gets to be interactive with you guys as well. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I might be rambling for a while, and that's cool because you can just go ahead and you can click the button to get out of this video if you don't like it. But that being said, let's get into this. So, the questions I will answer. The first one is more of a comment, but Sven Ekberg says that pizza should be eaten at the pizzeria. And although I agree with that, I think that in America we prefer to eat our pizza at home, although it is nice every once in a while to eat at a nice pizzeria. I ate at a very nice pizzeria in Pittsburgh and before, but usually pizza's a convenience. I like it at home. I like it delivered. I'm trying to watch me a football game, watch a hockey game, and just kind of chill out and relax. So, great question though. Thank you for your question. Let's move on to the next one. And I think this is an interesting one. And although I said I don't like to get into politics, and I won't, this is more about socialism versus capitalism, and I think it'd be interesting to hear my perspective. Harry Tavanen says that, how do you see Sweden today as a socialist country compared to your thoughts before you moved? Surprises, positive or negative? So, going off that really quickly, what I'll say is this: the positive with socialism is, I guess in a sense, is that you have the universal health care, which is very nice. You don't have to worry about being sick, which is awesome, and you'll be taken care of, and that's fantastic. The other is college and university, fantastic, that that's taken care of as well for you, so that is awesome. So that's all good. So you don't have to stress as much, I feel like, in Europe when it comes to work, and there are a lot of benefits. However, on the negatives, I feel like I came when I was 25. I feel like there's not a lot of benefits if you're 25 to 30 and you're not in college and you don't have kids. You don't see the benefits as much. You're just kind of paying into the higher tax rate. So it seems that you benefit mostly once you have children and once you're older, because obviously you get to pay parental leave. But without that, I don't see the main benefit at my age. Also, although I think socialism is interesting, I don't feel like there's as much of an incentive to work in the same way as you would in the States. For example, in restaurants, you're not getting paid in tips, where in a restaurant in the States, you're getting paid directly on how fast and how hard you work. So it's just different. I'm not saying people here don't work as hard. It's just a different kind of system, I guess, that we have overall. And the other thing I will say is I think there's definitely a higher tax rate in Sweden. So I think if you're a little guy and you're trying to expand a business, for example, it's not so easy. And on top of that, with socialism, since the work benefits are so great in a socialistic society, I noticed that there's fewer, like if you go to McDonald's in Sweden, for example, there's going to be nowhere near as many people working there because they have to be, and you can see this as a pro or con, I don't know, but because they have to get paid probably more money and there's more benefits to go with it, so it costs an employer higher overall to employ these people. Or maybe someone in the States that works at McDonald's is like maybe 16 years old, it's their first job, but you could work at McDonald's and work your way all the way up, if you will, but it shouldn't be just a first-time job as well, and you don't have as many of the great benefits, but people can hire more people in that sense as well. So that's what I've noticed. But with capitalism, let me say the same thing. I mean, in America, we don't have universal health care, so I'm not saying that that's a positive, and we have to pay for our own education, which isn't fun, so those are definitely negatives. And with capitalism, I really believe that you can move up the ladder, but in the capitalist society, that means people are going to be left behind as well. Maybe you don't always get to work hard. If you work harder, maybe you won't always make more money, because I think it has a little bit to decide on where you're born and where you live. But overall, there's always success stories everywhere. But that being said, I think that it works in Sweden because it's a small country. universal healthcare, all the way things work in Sweden works for a country of 9 million people. But if you want to put it in perspective, I'm from Pennsylvania, and that's 12 million people. Whoa, that was a long answer. You might like what I said, you might not like what I said, but you know what? It's just an honest perspective, and I don't really think it's political. It's just the two different philosophies. And at the end of the day, I'm not deciding how Sweden does its business or how the U.S. does. I'm just some dude living here, both using my phone to communicate with you. So let's go on to the other question. He says, have you ever tried to sing in Swedish? Yes. There's a couple videos on my YouTube channel of me doing it, but I'm thinking of doing some Swedish songs in the future with it. So I hope that was interesting to you as well. And then Christina again. I'm going to just read through your comments. Hi, Andrew. I must admit that I had no idea you were a musician until I found your channel. I was looking for advice videos on moving to Sweden, so I really appreciate these kinds of videos. However, I just looked you up on Spotify and I really liked your songs. Thanks. I have an EP on Spotify with Andrew Austin. As you've noticed, there's another dude on there named Andrew Austin, so I'm actually going to think about how I'm going to rebrand myself, because it might be better to separate myself. And so I'm going to think about that over the summer and try to figure out the best way, I guess, to move through that and how I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So, that being said, also thank you for answering my questions. It was really helpful, and I like your positive outlook concerning regrets. This is in response to my previous video. I totally understand that you do not want to get into politics, which I really don't, which thank you. As a philosopher, I tend to go for the heavy questions without noticing. Sometimes it takes a little reminder. Good luck with your marathon. Thank you. It went well. More questions. Here we go. What do you do to de-stress besides running? Awesome. What I've found to be great for running or distressing has been running, has been reading, and has been yoga, which I've just mostly started. Also, to help me de-stress is writing things down. You might not think about it, but for myself, I'm definitely someone that's dealt with anxiety. When I take the time to actually sit down and write down my thoughts, I'm getting them out of my head and on a piece of paper. And I've really enjoyed doing that, and I find that to be such an excellent way to de-stress. So that's something I definitely highly recommend. So I have that. Oh, how did you deal with the uncertainty during your 20s? The thing about life is there's uncertainties at so many times in your life. I want to finish your comment, though. I sometimes feel that people are expected to have figured out their entire lives by the time they turn 30. Yeah. Do you have any advice on how to find your way and maybe change your career? That I got all of that. So now I feel totally where you're coming from with your question, with your comment. And what I'll say is this. I'm 30. Do I have my life completely figured out? No. However, I will share with you some things on how to figure out what you want to do. And that is this. First, failure is awesome. You're going to make mistakes in your life. You're going to make mistakes in your 20s. You're going to have to pick yourself up. I'm going to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. So I don't have all the answers here. However, I think that the things that I started to learn when I was like 25 or 26 that I wish I would have figured out is this. The first thing you should be doing, no matter what kind of job you have or what you're working, is you should set up a retirement fund. I don't care what country it's in. Set up a retirement fund and figure out how to save some money every month. Just do that automatically. I don't care if you're working at Burger King flipping burgers or if you're a CEO of a company. Do that first as soon as you can do that. And if you haven't started, get used to doing that. Because no matter what you want to do in your life, whether you want to change a career or anything else, having that good basis of having more money saved is going to give you the option and the freedom to move on and try different things. So I think overall, that's a fantastic idea to get into. That would be first. Next, you never stop learning, and so I think that reading books is really, really important. For me, my 20s, getting through an uncertainty was mostly just dealing with anxiety and figuring things out for myself. You might think, for example, oh man, by 30, I'm supposed to be having kids and have my whole life figured out and be done, but the truth is, it's happening much later in life. But if you have your finances under control, if you have your health under control, I would suggest you don't have to be like I'm crazy. I don't even think I'm in that great shape, to be honest with you. I'm really not. I like to run and stuff, but I think it's good to be healthy, to take care of your body and your mind. It's good to read, to try to learn from others. I don't have a book written, but there's a lot of self-help books and other books out there. Whether self-help books are helpful, I think there's practical advice in there. I think you have to get more comfortable with yourself. You have to learn to accept who you are, your faults, and the good things. And I always recommend running a marathon just because anyone can do it. Anyone can run a marathon, and it just teaches you to have to break things down step by step and run. So, for example, with this YouTube channel, Christina, I have no idea what's going to happen. I started out, I had 35 subs, and now I have 180 subs. And there's going to be people along the way that are going to be haters. There's going to be people that might write mean comments. There might be people that think that I'm completely wasting my time being on here. But I look at it like this. You just don't give up. I mean, I think that probably a year or two from now, I'm going to move up much more just by simply not giving up, by being consistent. A really great quote that I'll end with today, and I love these questions today. This was fantastic, is that it's not about the big things we do in life it's about it's not the occasional big things, like you just do something big, but it's the consistent little things we do every day. So if I just run once a month, for example, that's not as good as maybe running shorter distances 3-4 times a week. Or reading a book, you could read a book in a month, but I mean, if you break a book up over a little bit every day, that's easier. But it's the consistent little things. Are you saving money? Are you working to better yourself? Do you respect yourself? So as far as what other people say they want, we live in this Facebook world where everybody's lives looks perfect. Everybody sets out and says they have to know what they're going to do, and we see success in that way. But really, I think it comes down to being happy, feeling free, finding the way and doing what you want to do. And if you're not doing something you want to do, are you making money? Are you moonlighting to find something that you want to do? I'm happy with what I do here in Sweden. At the same time, I enjoy having YouTube. I used to just play gigs and stuff here in Sweden, music gigs, and I would probably continue to make more money if I was just doing that. And I still want to do that, but I want to build this up because for me, YouTube gives me a way to beat everything else. Like I suddenly just have a place to be where I can talk, communicate, and I don't have to depend on anybody else to make a YouTube video. I can do it myself. So I know I rambled here for a little bit. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. If you agree with what I had to say, fantastic. If you didn't, fine. Feel free to comment below. As far as the socialism versus capitalism, I mean, it's just my perspective. It doesn't mean it's right. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. And maybe someone here in Sweden that's worked in the U.S. and has something to compare it to. So that's all I got there, guys. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please give me a like. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.